Hi.
Hey Reed, how are you doing?
Oh, another day in paradise.
Well, I know who I'm talking to, but not everybody knows who's on the phone, so introduce yourself.
Okay, sure. My name's Christensen. I'm 65 years old. I was born in 1958. I was arrested April 25th, 2021 in Oregon. But the Oregon judge, for various reasons, let me go. So I've been on pretrial since the end of September till just this September. And I opted for a full jury trial and came back guilty on all counts, of course. And they immediately threw me in jail because I was too dangerous to be on the streets. So I've been here since the end of September.
When do you have your sentencing rate?
Yeah, so it's middle of December 15th.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll be keeping you in our prayers for that. Yes. And I don't want to talk too much about your case because, you know.
Oh, it's too late. I wrote a book about it.
Well, tell us about your book. I read it. Well, it's very good in my opinion, but you tell us about your book.
Appreciate it. Well, it just starts by my arrest and what happened and why the judge let me go. The name of the book comes from an allegory that I thought of. It's an extension. So a lady told me a story about a Republican rally she went to, and I had the thought that could be extended into a fictional allegory that could teach maybe the morality of what we should be doing here in America. You know, what response should we have to what's happening to our country and that kind of thing. And I wrote it mostly because I just had some strong feelings about the January 6th. I wasn't there long. I was there like half an hour from about 2:15 to 2:45, and I was heavily pepper sprayed. So, in fact, an expert witness at my trial said I was probably hit by like the equivalent of 13 cans of mace. So I wasn't there very long, but I'll tell you what I felt when I was there. I felt like I was at the second Boston Tea Party, and I was so proud of Americans saying, we're going to wave our flag on the steps of the Capitol. I don't care what you people say. And I thought that was a pretty appropriate response for people who just stole the election and, as far as we know, potentially murdered America. If we don't fix our election system, America's dead. You know, we can shoot fireworks on the 4th of July, and we can barbecue, and we can, you know, wave the flag and have a sham elections, but it won't be America if we can't choose our leader.
That's right.
So I felt strongly about it and wrote it in a book, and it's called Save the Kid, and it comes from the allegory. The kid is America, but the title comes from the allegory about what tries to show the kind of moral behavior that's probably the right thing for us to be doing as Americans at this point.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a pretty good read, and it's if you just sit down and read it, it's very fast.
Well, appreciate it. I was thinking, I don't know how long you want me to ramble, but I was thinking it might be kind of fun for you to tell people why I'm a patriot.
Okay, so let us know.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this. So I blame it all on my dad. He's 88 years old, and he's living with a younger brother in Utah. And he was living on our property in Oregon, but at the beginning of this year, it became clear that I probably wasn't going to be there, and it wouldn't be fair to leave, you know, the property and my dad and all that responsibility alone on my wife Myra. We met when we were 17. We've been married 44 years, and
awesome.
Anyways, so decided that we needed to move him down to Utah, but he's 88. My mom has passed on, but I still tease him. I say the reason I'm in jail here is because it's his fault. And the reason I say that is he was in the Air Force when I was born. I was born in San Antonio, Texas, where there's a bunch of training bases. And so my mom and dad were stationed down there for pilot training, and I was born down there. And so my whole life growing up, we were in the Air Force. And my dad was a fighter pilot. In fact, he was one of the top 10 fighter pilots in all of what was called Air Defense Command. And those are the fighters that would protect us from Russian bombers, Soviet bombers coming over the North Pole. And so we always lived in northern states. I grew up in places where there's always tons of snow. And anyways, my dad was my first hero. I mean, he's not like a Tom Cruise fighter pilot. He's more like, he's very quiet and religious person. And I admired that. And he's strong, just skinny, well built, and he was fighting communists. I mean, what's not to like about that?
Right.
So he was my first hero, and because of that, I was very patriotic and always really loved America. My mom was an English teacher, and so she encouraged those kids to do a lot of reading, and so I always read a lot of books. I'm a nonfiction type of guy. I like history.
Yeah.
And I remember in 6th grade, the teacher told me I was reading college-level history books because I just loved it so much. And so I knew what the communists were up to over there in the Iron Curtain and how many tens of millions of people they were murdering and everything. And so I just really idolized my dad. So I'll tell you a funny story about him, just to maybe show you what kind of person he was. He was very quiet, so I learned at a very early age that if I ever wanted to talk to him, I had to help him do something. So he was raised on a dairy, so he was used to working from dawn to dusk, and I hardly ever saw him sit down. But he wasn't going to just sit down and talk to me or go out and throw the ball with me. If I wanted to talk to him, I had to find something to do with him. So I was always his helper, his little gopher, always working on the car or building something or whatever. I'd be right there helping him so we could talk about what we were doing. And anyways, he just was a great influence on me, and I learned. Well, so this story, I was probably 10 or 12, somewhere in there, and we were working on the car, and I was being his gopher, getting things for him. And then he told me, "Great, I need to go get the turds out of the litter box." We had a cat. And frankly, I was shocked. I thought my dad had just sworn at me. Because that's like the strongest language I've ever heard him use. I thought turd was a swear word. So he was very quiet, very religious person. And it kind of rubbed off on me, and definitely his love of America rubbed off on me. And I tell people this being in the jail here wasn't on my bucket list, but I'm glad to be in here with good people and having stood up for America.
Amen. Yeah, we're very proud of you, Reed. We always say that we're just one big, happy, extended family. And, I'm proud to call you my cousin on my J6 side.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Do you have a Gibson Go or any commissary needs?
Well, not really. I was one of the chip giants over there in Oregon for 30 years, so I had a good job for all those years, and so we basically spent a lot of our retirement cash on lawyers, but we're selling the farm to get my wife settled, and that's settling right now. So she'll be fine, and I'm at the age, if I eat too much commissary, it just goes right to my waist. so I'm not trying to do too much of that. So I think it'd be nice if people who have rougher circumstances, you can help them. So and the book is I think it's a good read politically and so forth. But I think I sold 20 of them before I came in here, so it's not gonna. we're not gonna live off of that. But one of the reasons I did it is because we have family that have decided not to talk to us because I'm a J6er.
Right.
And so I could have dozens or maybe down the road maybe even hundreds of ancestors or descendants who wouldn't know anything about who I was, and somebody might not even mention me to them. And so one reason I did it was just kind of set the record for my family too.
Right.
So yeah, but we're fine financially. We get the farm sold and get my wife settled. She's gonna settle in Idaho near one of our sons and his family. So
nice. Yeah, I've
we're
actually had a few conversations with your wife. She seems like a very nice lady.
yeah, she's a great lady. I don't want to get too corny here, but I was at a church dance and my sister came over and said, I need you to meet this girl I met at camp. And I looked up and I immediately fell in love with her.
Aww, that's so sweet.
Well, here's the funny thing. She fell in love with me too. Yeah, so we were married at 21 and raised 5 kids, and it was a blast. So I've told guys in here that last time I hung around with a bunch of guys, I was 21 before I got married.
You have 1 minute remaining.
So anyways, thanks, Tammy. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely, Reed. Please call us back anytime you want.
Alrighty, sounds good. Thanks again. Thanks for all
you,
your support,
Love you,
everybody.
Patriot.
Thank you, Patriot.
Alrighty, bye.
Bye.
Bye.